All right, ready to dive into a world where masterpieces fetch these, like, crazy prices. We're talking the 21 most expensive paintings ever sold,
Oh, yeah. Stolen treasures, scandalous nudes, we've got it all.
and even, like, rival artists who actually painted each other.
It's fascinating how these paintings go beyond just like being art. They become these historical pieces, cultural touchstones, and sometimes even like pawns in these like intricate power plays.
Exactly. So kicking things off at number 21, we've got Gustav Klimt's portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer Eye. A cool 135 million. But the price tag, that's just the beginning. This one's got a whole backstory of Nazi plunder and a family's fight for, like, justice.
Right. It wasn't just bought and sold. It was like seized during World War II from this Jewish family. And decades later, their heir fought like so hard to get it back. It really shows you how art can get caught up in these really like dark parts of history.
Makes you think, huh? How many other artworks out there have similar stories we don't even know about?
Oh, I'm sure there are tons.
Okay, at number 20, we've got Willem de Kooning's Woman the Third, another one of those abstract expressionist masterpieces. This one went for 137.5 million.
And what's really cool about this one, it's the only one from de Kooning's Woman series that's still privately owned. All the others, museums, makes it a real gem.
And speaking of rare finds, number 19 is Jackson Pollock's number 5 reported sale. 140 million. But hold on, there's a twist. That one was a replica. The real number 5, damaged, repainted by Pollock himself, and someone snagged it for, get this, $1,500.
Whoa, can you imagine? Talk about being in the right place at the right time. It just shows like value in art. So subjective. There's more to it than what meets the eye.
For sure. Okay, moving on to number 18, Chibaishi's 12 landscape screens. This one went for 140.8 million.
And it was kind of a big deal because Baishi became the first Chinese artist to break that $100 million mark.
Right. It was more than just about him, though, right? It signaled this, like, shift. Chinese art was finally getting the recognition it deserved on a global stage.
Exactly.
Number 17, we've got Francis Bacon's 3 Studies of Lucien Freud, sold for 142.4 million. And the interesting thing, it features Bacon's, like, artistic rival and friend, Lucien Freud.
Oh yeah, their relationship was like super complex. Admiration, competition, you can practically feel the tension radiating from the canvas. Makes an already interesting piece even more so.
Like a visual representation of their back and forth, frozen in time. Okay, before we hit the top 15, let's take a quick pause. I know these prices are, like, insane. But got to remember, this is the art market's top tier.
Right, not your everyday art sale.
Exactly. So with that in mind, we arrive at number 16, another Klimt, portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer II. This one fetched 150 million. And fun fact, it used to be part of Okra's collection before, going to a Chinese buyer.
It's crazy how these paintings travel, right? Like it shows how tastes change over time.
At number 15, we've got Picasso's Le Rêve, The Dream, 155 million. But this one's more just a pretty picture. It's thought to be a portrait of Picasso's mistress, Marie-Thérèse Walter, and some say there's, like, hidden symbolism in it.
Oh, definitely. Picasso loved to like infuse sensuality and desire into his work, and you see that in Le Rêve, for sure.
Number 14 brings us Roy Lichtenstein's masterpiece, a pop art icon that sold for, wait for it, 165 million. It's so hard to miss. It's like a comic book panel came to life, all those bold colors and speech bubbles.
Lichtenstein was brilliant. He blurred those lines between high art and like regular pop culture, took something ordinary and made it museum worthy, made people think about what art even is.
Totally. Okay, get ready because things are about to get spicy. Number 13 and 12 are both by Amedeo Modigliani, both called Nu Couché, Reclining Nude. Number 13, sold in 2018, went for 170 million, but number 12 from 1917 sold in 2015. This one's got a story.
Ooh, I'm listening.
This Nu Couché caused such a ruckus when it was first shown in Paris, the authorities shut the whole exhibit down.
Wow, talk about making a statement. It really shows you how like social norms were changing and art was right at the forefront of that.
And the buyer of this scandalous masterpiece, none other than Chinese billionaire Liu Yuqian, swiped his American Express to buy it. Talk about a power move.
It definitely says something about like how some people see art collecting. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about like status, showing off your taste and influence.
All right, at number 11, we've got, you guessed it, another Picasso. Les Femmes d'Alger Version O, sold for 179.4 million. And this one's the grand finale in a series of 15 paintings inspired by Eugene Delacroix's The Women of Algiers in their apartment.
This one's especially cool because it's seen as Picasso's tribute to like another art giant, Henri Matisse. Throughout his career, Picasso was always like having these visual conversations with other artists, reinterpreting their work in his own way.
Like he's talking across time and artistic styles. Adds this whole other layer of meaning to this already incredible painting. Okay, we're in the top 10 now. Like the ultimate art world A-listers. And at number 10, we've actually got kind of a sweet story amidst all this like crazy money. It's a pair of pendant portraits by Rembrandt. They depict this couple, Martin Suleman and Uptrin Capet, just about to get married.
Oh,
Yeah, right. And these portraits, sold together for 180 million, were actually bought jointly by the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam and the Louvre in Paris.
oh wow, so they'd never be separated.
Exactly, like a testament to, collaboration and how much people love art. Goes beyond borders.
I love that.
Okay, number 9, another clicked Wasserschlangen II. This one went for 183 million, but it's got like this shady past.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Well, like the Adele Bloch-Bauer portrait, it was looted by the Nazis during World War II.
Not surprised, honestly. Seems to happen a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. And on top of that, it got tangled up in this whole Bouvier affair. Big scandal in the art world back in the 90s.
Oh, right, the Bouvier affair. All those allegations about prices being, like, way too high, shady dealing, even questions about if certain pieces were real or not.
Exactly. It wasn't just about a pretty painting. It was about, like, the dark side of the art market. What kind of impact did the Bouvier affair have long term?
It really showed how the art market lacked, like, transparency and regulations. There were laws against fraud, yeah, but the affair highlighted, like, the need for way stricter due diligence and provenance research, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It forced the industry to, like, look in the mirror and face its problems. And honestly, it led to some good changes. More accountability, ethical practices, things like that.
It's a good reminder that even in a world of, like, beauty and art, you got to be careful. Okay, number 8 is Mark Roscoe's number 6, Violet, Green, and Red. This one went for, get this, 186 million. And guess what?
Another Nazi looting.
Nope, this one was part of the Bouvier affair, too.
Wow, really, this Rothko, with its, simple rectangles of color, it was at the center of all that drama. Some people probably look at it and wonder what the big deal is.
Right, so break it down for us. What makes abstract expressionism so valuable, especially a Rothko?
Okay, so think about it. Rothko wasn't trying to paint, like, actual things. He was exploring emotions, using color and form to create this, like, visceral experience for the viewer.
Okay,
The way he layers those colors, those little shifts in hue, it creates a sense of depth and movement. You get pulled in. It's not about what you see, it's about how it makes you feel.
makes sense. He's like painting emotions, not objects. All right, down to the final 7. At number 7, we've got a set of paintings that really shows how unpredictable the art world can be. Andy Warhol's Shot Marilyns, sold together for 195 million.
The shot Marilyns, why are they called that?
You ready for this? They were literally shot by a performance artist, Dorothy Podber. Back in '64, she just like walked up to Warhol's studio, pulled out a pistol, and bam! Right through a stack of those Maryland canvases.
No way, seriously. Was Warhol, like, furious?
Well, at first, yeah, shocked, but then he seemed to kind of roll with it. Even started calling those damaged works the Shot Marilyns, some say.
That's hilarious.
And that crazy event turned those pieces into, like, art world legends.
Talk about turning a negative into a positive. Bullet holes equal millions.
Right? Okay, number 6, another fascinating piece with a great backstory. Rembrandt's The Standard Bearer, self-portrait. Sold for a record-breaking 197.9 million.
A self-portrait by Rembrandt. For that much? Wow.
And here's the cool part. The Dutch government actually stepped in to help the Rijksmuseum get the painting. They knew how culturally important it was, and they wanted to keep it in the Netherlands.
It's nice to see a government that cares about art like that.
Right. Okay, for number 5, we're back to abstract expressionism. Jackson Pollock's number 17A, 200 million smackaroos. Remember Kenneth C. Griffin, our art world Thanos?
Yeah, he's the one who thought that, right?
Yep, this is one of the ones he snagged.
That guy's a legend. Hedge fund billionaire with a passion for art. They say his collection's worth billion. It's got to have some of the most important art ever made in it.
And the cool thing, he actually loans them out to museums, shares his treasures with everyone.
Good for him.
Right? Okay, time to head to Tahiti for number 4. We've got Paul Gauguin's Nafea Fa Ipoipo, which means When Will You Marry? This painting of Tahitian women sold for 210 million.
Ooh, Gauguin. His work, especially his stuff from Polynesia, is kind of controversial. Some people love his style, the colors, the unique perspective. Others, they say he's like exoticizing indigenous cultures, even exploiting them.
It's definitely complicated. Art is a reflection of the times, right? And it's good to think about these things. Okay, for number 3, we've got a masterpiece that shows how dedicated some artists are. Paul Cézanne's The Card Players went for a crazy 250 million. But get this. There are 5 versions of this painting.
5? Why?
Cézanne wasn't satisfied with capturing just one moment. He wanted to explore every detail, every little change in the light and shadows. So he made multiple versions of the same scene. different compositions, colors, brushstrokes.
Wow, that's dedication.
It's like he's saying true skill isn't about being perfect. It's about, like, always exploring, always pushing yourself. Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's move on to number 2, Willem de Kooning's Interchange. Sold for $300 million.
Whoa.
And remember our art world, Danos.
Kenneth, yeah.
Yep, this is the other one he snagged for his collection.
Smart guy. Interchange is like peak abstract expressionism, the movement that like completely changed American art in the mid-20th century. You've got the bold brushstrokes, that dynamic composition, those crazy colors. It was such a departure from like traditional painting. It was all about feeling, not just what you see.
And now, drum roll please, the most expensive painting ever sold. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi. $450 million.
Can you believe it?
I know, right? It shows Jesus as the savior of the world, and it's got this crazy history, lost for a while, then rediscovered. People even debating if it's really a Da Vinci.
Yeah, the Salvator Mundi shows you how much the art world values history and like rarity, sometimes even more than how pretty the art is. It's a potential Da Vinci masterpiece, which makes it like the holy grail for art collectors, drives the price through the roof.
It's like owning a piece of Da Vinci's mind. But wait, there's more. Bonus round time. Get ready for a what-if scenario that'll blow you away.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Hit me.
We all know the Mona Lisa, right? Arguably the most famous painting on the planet.
Arguably, it is the most famous.
But imagine if it was up for sale.
Oh, man.
Experts think it would go for over $830 million, more than any other painting.
I believe it. The Mona Lisa is more than just a painting, you know? It's this like global icon, mysterious, beautiful. It's in a league of its own. It's not even just about the money anymore. It's about the fact that one piece of art can capture the imagination of like the whole world.
So after all that, after this crazy trip through the most expensive art ever, what does it all mean? Is it all about money? Or is there something more?
That's the big question, isn't it? Sure, money's a part of it, but I think art's value is really about its power to like transcend time and place. It connects us to something bigger.
Yeah, you're right. These paintings, they're more than just objects. They're vessels of stories, emotions, and ideas. We get to peek into the minds of the artists and the hearts of the collectors, you know. It really makes you think about why people collect art, you know. Is it about owning something, like super rare? Or maybe it's the investment? Or is it about, like, connecting with the artist's vision on some level?
I think it's all those things, honestly. You've got collectors who are all about preserving cultural history, making sure these pieces are like taken care of and shared. And then there are the ones who are in it for the, you know, the clout. Owning a piece of art history shows you've made it.
And then some people just like love art, want to be surrounded by beautiful things. Which leads me to our final question for you, dear listener. If you had millions of dollars to drop on art, what would you buy?
Would you go for an old master, maybe a Renaissance piece, or a landscape, something impressionist, or a modern sculpture, something that really makes you think? The options are endless.
Me? I think I'd go for a pre-Raphaelite painting. Love those romantic scenes, all the nature and mythology. Or maybe a Frida Kahlo. Her work is so powerful, so full of emotion.
Those are great choices. Art that tells a story, art that shows you something about what it means to be human. It's the best.
Couldn't agree more. Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the world's priciest paintings. We traveled through time, explored all kinds of art, and uncovered some pretty wild stories along the way.
It's been a blast, hasn't it? From the old masters with their crazy detailed work to abstract expressionism, which just like exploded onto the scene. We've seen how human creativity has changed and evolved.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be talking about your art collection on the show.
Huh! That'd be awesome.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive, everyone. We'll leave you with this. What really makes a piece of art valuable? Is it the price tag, the artist's name? Or is it something deeper? Something about how it makes you feel, how it inspires you, or maybe even challenges your way of thinking? Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep. We'll see you next time.